top 10 Eldritch Moon cards. Travis here, Travis Wizard with
MTG line, and
what?
we're
How's
really
it going?
excited. Yeah, we're really
Yeah.
excited to do this
Mhm.
over again with you
Yeah,
guys.
and I'm a big fan of collabing with MTG Lion because, I think we have some things in common, but in some things we see the game from very different
Most
perspective.
most in common, we have our Reddit love, right? Reddit loves us.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the game from different perspectives, which I think is great because we will pick different cards to put on our list and have interesting conversation. Although this time I suspect there will be a lot of overlap because the same cards that are really good to build around happen to
Maybe
be like
yeah, maybe the most pricey cards in the set, I would
yes,
imagine.
although I've got a list and I know some of my cards are not going to be on your list. So why don't we start would you like to go first? What is say your number 5?
Oh yeah, I'll go first. I really like Thalia. I would put
Ooh.
her at number 5.
Mhm.
I did get the ability to play her a little bit, play test her last night at FNM. FNM we did draft, but I was able to I go ahead and play test her. There is a big difference between two in a white and one in a white. And I noticed that tremendously when I played her. It doesn't feel the same. I felt like, oh, this is just a bigger, better version, but it's not true at all. The older Thalia, I feel like was a lot. Is gonna be a lot better for modern and legacy, which the already sees play. This new one, it fits very well with the human deck in standard, the green white human deck. So if it sees any play, it will be in that deck. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's modern playable. I really wish it was modern playable because I've been picking up a ton of these, just stockpiling them, but I don't believe it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily love it for modern. You play it on the play turn 2. It can really shut down fetch lands, but that's the highest upside. Downside, it just gets lightning bolted, and then your deck sucks. But I mean, also we'll see. I know what we'll see play in standard, probably more so as things rotate. But there's so many crazy 3 drops. Like the competition at the 3 spot
And
is very high.
especially in modern too. That's a very competitive, like two drops. The difference between a two drop and a free drop in modern is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
I, so I can't. I mean, I really do wish it was good, but I play tested it. It's in my modern Eldrazi
Mm-hmm.
deck and my standard Eldrazi deck. It does a ton, just not enough, and
Mm-hmm.
that's very sad because it's close. It's very close,
Mm-hmm.
but it's quite not enough.
Yeah, well, it's still good enough to make the list. All right, my number 5. I'm picking a card that is definitely not on your list. This is in my top 5 because it's super interesting to build around. Splendid Reclamation. Three
Oh,
and
I
a
don't even know what
green,
that is.
3 and a green, rare, mass reanimate all lands from your graveyard to play.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's
yeah, it's like,
devastating summons, right? I saw
yeah,
that
what do
comp.
you do with it? Do you delirium yourself in standard and bring it back, drain them with retreat to Hagra? Is it a mana engine? Do you use it with Valakut? Or in modern, do you use it with do you use it with Lotus Cobra in modern and Greater Gargadon? That's not the card that is going to be worth much, but it's just a totally new effect, and a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do with it, and it's unclear. So that makes my list because it's one of the cards that's provoked the most discussion, the most new builds, the most unique. Again, it's not a financial pick at all, but
I like it. I like it. It's
yeah,
a
it's a sweet
combo. It's
card.
a combo card, right?
Mhm.
So it's a lot of creativity. So I'll go with my number 4. I was able to draft this card first pick, and it's as good as it's as good as people make it. Elder Deep Fiend.
I mean, that'd be my number 1, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
So I
yes.
was able to play with it. So yeah, you can talk about it a little bit more. I guess we'll talk about it a little bit more
Mhm.
once we get to the number 1.
Well,
It's
I'll pick a
surprisingly
new
good.
number 1, but
Okay,
yeah.
it's surprisingly good. The merge is a lot better than I expected it to be, especially in limited. Because you just have these janky dudes. I remember the one clue maker. It's like two blue. It generates a clue. Like once that guy's out, it's a 2/4. You play this for like one and double blue, or you pay for like free, and then you just get this huge effect at instant speed, and tap down all your opponent's stuff, and then just attack with a 5/6.
Yeah, it's massive. it's huge. It has flash. It taps their lands. It taps their creatures. I mean, we'll see. It's one of my picks for the Pro Tour. Jerry Thompson has this blue-red list where you not only flash it in, but you flash back Kozilek's Return and you sweep everything too, which is just
Oh
stupid.
yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot that
just
because it is
outrageous.
it is a Eldrazi and I'll trigger the right. I'll trigger
Yeah, so
the turn.
we'll see it in standard, probably for as long as it's in standard. I
That's
hope
a very
so.
good point. I didn't realize that. Do you think small side? What's that card? The board sweeper that it does 2 damage.
Kozilek's
Kozilek's
Return.
Return.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that card going to be more playable? Because it was not playable the first time around.
hmm
And you're right. This one, I didn't even see that into action.
There's
That's
people playing
pretty
the deck.
clever.
I don't know how good it will turn out to be, but people were playing it. Tournaments today, actually, and so we will find out. But I think it will be good in a variety of decks.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
going to be very good. I didn't even notice that into
yeah, it
action.
also might see play, and it might be a good financial pick as well because I'm not necessarily a speculator, but it's interesting. Um, I might because it has some life in modern. There's people who play Bant Eldrazi or Blue Eldrazi and they like it, and then it could also be a build around. It's very good with like Eternal Witness,
Oh yeah,
and yeah, I mean there's a lot of good things about it in modern and standard. It could be well positioned, so I mean I like
yeah.
the pick. It would be on my list.
I
So
like the card a lot too.
yeah, to play with that, I'll make my number four, Decimator of Provinces. This is the green
Oh yeah.
emerge.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a mythic, not a not a rare. So, Craterhoof Behemoth was very good in standard, and I get the sense Decimator of Provinces is better because it's cheaper.
Mhm.
I mean, it has 9 emerge. I could very easily see it emerging it for 5 mana. It's a 9/9 trample haste that gives your other creatures plus. It just seems dumb. It seems like training wheels. It seems too easy to win with it.
So
I
you're a big fan of Emerge, right? So
Oh yeah,
as a mechanic, it's an interesting mechanic, right? Because you accelerate, but at the same time, it's you still need a creature.
yeah. It makes an interesting design issue for decks, but I mean these cards seem very much in reach. You get a 9/9 trample haste that pumps your team for 5 mana. It seems stupid. So
Yeah.
I actually expect that card to. It looks like a big dumb Timmy card, but hey, sometimes big dumb Timmy cards are quite good and constructed. Could be wrong on this one, but I see it as an upgraded Crater Hoof for standard.
How about modern? Do you think it's going to be played in modern over Crater Hoof? Because that's
Well,
the interesting question.
Crater Hoof is not really played in modern, so
Oh, and Legacy and
yeah.
Elves.
Well, in Legacy, the cost doesn't matter as much because you're hitting it with natural order. And
Hmm.
once you have like a Decimator is going to be better if you have like 3 or fewer creatures, roughly. If you have like 4 or more creatures, Crater Hoof will be better. So it's possible some people will play Decimator over Crater Hoof and Elves. I don't know enough about Elves. I get the sense that a lot of the time they have like 6 creatures and Crater Hoof's way better. But it's also a card. It's a mythic. It's Timmy. I would play that in
Probably be played in
EDH.
EDH and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
the casual
yeah.
formats. All right, my next pick is Tameo. Um, I really did want to put Tameo higher, but the Bant colors. I mean, right now it's very popular. Green white is the most popular deck.
hmm
Splashing blue makes a lot of sense because of another card that you probably picked.
It's on
I
my
didn't pick the
list.
card,
Oh,
but I
okay. I'll
assume that
talk about it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
assume that you picked
Yeah.
that card, and it makes a lot of sense because you just throw in that you throw in a few new cards. You throw in Reflector Mage, which is always very good, and now you have a Bant deck. However, very strong. I just don't want to be forced into. It reminds me a lot of the Sarkhan, the Temur Sarkhan.
Unbroken. Yeah.
Yeah, on the Broken, and that just saw no play, but it would pump out these huge dragons, and I was like, whoa, this is a token creator
hmm
that can create multiple tokens, huge dragon tokens, and it saw no play at all. That's what I'm feeling that people are doing about Tameo because I've seen her price
hmm
drop. Right now, she's around $17 in TCG player mids. Market price, I guess, is what they call it now.
hmm
Um, and I would have imagined that she would be the most expensive card in the set, but she's not. There are 2 cards above her, which I'll probably talk about. So, how do you
hmm
like Tameo? Do you think she'll see any play?
I think that Tamio, her price will even go lower, and then her price will go way up because she's not going to see a whole lot of constructed play when Collected Company is in. Bant
Yep.
Collected Company is just too good. You might sideboard Tamio, but you Collected Company is just a way stronger four drop. It's an instant, so it plays well against Deep Fiend and other cards on the list. So I just don't see Tamio to see play while Collected Company is in. However, Collected Company is rotating not that soon. And after that, we could easily see, and I saw Pascal from CFB say this as well, I agree with this, that we're going to see playsets of Tamio in Bant decks
Mm.
after Company's gone. So,
After Coco's gone,
yeah,
yeah.
we might
Coco's so strong, yeah,
yeah, in the
no
next
one
couple
plays
weeks from
Collected.
the Pro Tour, we might see no Tamio and the price goes down. That might be a good time to buy because, I mean,
Oh yeah, so what price do you like? Just throw me a number. What price do you think she'll go down to?
I have 17 feels pretty low for a Mythic Planeswalker already, so I don't actually know. I just think that uh, it's not a bad idea to hold on to them for the low price because it feels like basically when company goes out, demand for Tamio will go up. Period. So
I know, I absolutely
yeah.
agree with that. That's a very good point that you made.
Okay. Let's move on. I'm gonna pick a card. I don't know if this is on your list. Eldritch Evolution.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I have no idea on the price on this. Eldritch Evolution is another card that is a really interesting build around one in a green green kind of mini natural order, like Birthing Pod mixed with
Hmm.
natural order. How good is it? Maybe not so good for standard, but it's definitely a modern card because modern decks can win on the spot with this thing by comboing off. I It has to compete with Collected Company and Court of Calling in the kind of Naya Kiki
Hmm.
combo or Melora combo, and it remains to be seen if it will do so. But it's actually faster than either of those cards. So if you have a version of the deck that just wants to win as fast as possible and doesn't care about value, it's an amazing card. So that's a very exciting card because, hey, I mean, you don't always get playable rares for modern from a set. Sometimes you get none. And
That's true.
any of them, if you have one, it's probably making my top five. So I'm a big fan of that
I
card.
actually like it a lot for so in I play a podless deck, malaria
Mm-hmm.
combo, and it makes a lot of sense because your birds of paradise or your noble hierarch, they don't really do very much for you. So if you can tutor for a malaria or a kitchen finks or whatever you need to complete your combo, then losing that card doesn't actually do anything because you're just going combo off. So I like it a lot. It's definitely a rare that I'm keeping my eye on. It's really high price right now for I think it's like $9 right now, and that's very high for a
I
rare.
think it's unrealistically high.
Yeah, that's for a modern, especially given the print size of today's sets. It seems pretty high.
Not necessarily a good financial pick, but a fun card to build around.
Yeah, it's definitely going. I'm definitely going to put it in my modern deck to try out at least.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna get to the number two for me would be one of the more expensive cards, Gisela, the Broken
Mm.
Blade. Not much to say about her. I don't see you ever wanting to meld her. I feel like that's not the type of deck she would belong in. I mean, Baneslayer Angel was a four of, and it was one of the strongest cards. The only downside of this card is it's a legendary creature, so you can't play multiple angels. I know stacking Baneslayers just feels very OP.
Mm-hmm.
And she can in modern she won't see that much play because she can just be lightning bolted away. Which Baneshiller Angel has a five toughness and it's a little bit harder to deal with. But I mean, two and double white, flying first strike, lifelink, additional like upside with meld, and it's right now at $17, a little bit over above Cameo. I
Mm-hmm.
believe they are more common than the mythic rares. So I've got
Mm-hmm.
more of these meld cards or meld mythics, mainly Bruna, than I got of the
Bruna's
planes.
a rare, actually, I believe. I believe Gisella's a mythic and Bruna's a rare.
Oh,
I
are
think
you
so.
sure?
I'm not
Because
sure, but I think so.
when you flip both of them, it makes a mythic Eldrazi. So that's kind of weird.
Yes, I believe that one is rare, one is mythic. The 7 drop is
Okay,
rare.
Gisella's definitely mythic.
Uh,
Yeah,
Giselle is
Gisella's
definitely
definitely
mythic.
mythic. Maybe
Yeah,
that's why I have
yeah. Bruno's a
so
rare.
many. Yeah, you're right. Bruno's rare, and then the meld card is a
Mhm.
mythic. So that kind of explains why I got more Brunos. I
Mhm.
felt like they were a lot more common than Gisela. But I love her. I think she's going to do well. The foil version of her is very pretty because the back is foil as well. So that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, people love Angels. This one's really cool. People will try to meld. This one will see play in EDH. Standard might have some problems. That remains to be seen. Uh, if it doesn't see play in Standard, it could take a hit. So,
Yeah, no, it has
um,
to see play in standard. Like it's not going to see play anywhere else
yeah, so
except EDH or
I'm
casual.
not actually sure it will see play in Standard because you can remove it, you can counter it, you can. It's Baneslayer was uniquely positioned, so that's one I'm not. I probably wouldn't go all in on that one.
Huh?
I
Because
would short it.
I would definitely say it's got to find a home in standard, and that's always a very dangerous proposal. Like if you pick something like Coco or Nahari, that's fine because their homes are in modern, so you can
And
just keep
everywhere
holding
as
them.
well.
Yeah, everywhere. Like they are just very popular cards everywhere. Gisela, I agree. Her price will be solely dependent on standard, and then maybe some casual appeal because she's a
Hmm.
mythic angel.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on to my number two. Is your number one? Does it cost 2 mana?
No.
Okay, I can talk about this.
Yeah.
My number two, Grim Flare.
Oh, okay. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
I mean,
one.
it's a mythic two
It's
drop. It's
the new
insane.
Tamagotchi, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. When it has payoff is 4/4 trample for two, which is
Yeah.
insane. But also, it enables itself. It controls the top of your deck. It sets up your graveyard. It's mythic for a reason, folks. This card, it's gonna slot into green black Delirium and standard. I would play it in a green black EDH deck. Probably no life in modern, but I mean, the card is super sweet. It makes me want to play Delirium. Curve this into removal spell on like Liliana and Mind Rack Demon. I think that deck is actually going to be quite competitive, and most of the important Delirium cards are from the newer sets, so it's likely to last for a year. So,
So I love Gogari cards, and the
mhm,
problem I have with this particular card, it reminds me too much of other cards in the past from Lottlet Tro being the
mhm,
main one, and I always felt that the Tro would be very strong. It's just the colors don't work well.
mhm.
Black, black green for whatever reason has not been that great ever since Spirit.
Well, there was the Jund era, right?
Yeah, but that has
Future
there
Leech.
was another color on it.
Yeah,
So are you saying that it would be played in a black green deck, or do you
I
think it's
believe
going to
so.
be played in a Jund build?
I've got a list. I mean, you're seeing them sprout up. You've got Sylvan Advocate and Grimflayer at two. You have Hissing Quagmire for the late game.
Yep.
You've got Mind Rack Demon and Liliana. And you can top with either Gitrog Monster or Ishkana the Spider, which almost made my list.
It seems like a
Um,
very big brew. It seems like you're perfect for a
yeah.
rogue deck
Um,
builder of some type. Yeah.
and I think it has uh, competitive life now because of this card. It's like this is the linchpin card. It's your insane two drop. You get it through on the third turn. It's gonna be pretty hard to lose.
But is it ever better than the Advocate?
Yeah, if you connect, it's 10,000 times better. I mean, because the advocate doesn't look at the top three cards and like put the two worst that you need in your graveyard, and like I mean, advocate's a 4/5 on turn six. Grim Flare, you connect on the third turn, it's a 4/4 trample right there, and it's gonna connect again the
But
next
that's
turn.
what I'm always afraid of, like that connecting part. That's difficult to do sometimes in standard because
Yeah, it might
whenever
not
you have
happen.
cards, yeah, that depend on hitting your opponent or hitting,
Uh huh.
it's sometimes I don't want to put my horse to that wagon because I've
Definitely.
seen so many cards where this
Honored
card would be
Hierarch for
amazing
certain, for
if
sure.
I can. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the hierarch, right? That other one.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think that you're right. So I mean, uh, however, um, For one, it's a design constraint of the deck. You have to build with removal in mind. And the second thing is this card doesn't actually have to connect because it turns into a 4/4 without connecting. So it's a good late game top deck. And even if you never get in, you just have to wait till turn 4. Your Mind Rack Demon comes down.
So you
Now it's a
think
4/4
Delirium
trample.
is going to be really easy to activate now
Yes.
with the new cards?
Yes, you also have Terrarion, which is the easiest artifact to get into your graveyard
Mhm.
ever. So, I've been seeing lists, and I expect Delirium to be, if not like tier deck, like very, very, very competitive tier two.
That's good. That's very good. My number one pick is the
Mm-hmm.
most expensive card of the set. Of course, we picked for value.
Uh-huh.
Liliana, the Last Hope.
Okay.
I like her a lot. I was able to use a one of my opponents last night at draft had her, and she was very good. Obviously limited. Her +1 is surprisingly good. So she's one double black. Her +1 is up to one target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn. That's removal. That's consistent removal. That's protection for her.
+1
It's
removal.
+1, yeah, and it bumps up her loyalty. Her loyalty, starting loyalty, is free. So just that alone, I think is like almost good enough. Her ultimate with the zombie thing, that's kind of, in my opinion, I don't know if that's a great
It
ultimate.
feels weak.
It feels like it's going to take a long time. And when you ultimate and you're doing that much stuff, then I feel like you should get rewarded a little faster. I guess. But C overall is probably one of the strongest cards. A -2 is put the top two cards of your library from your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and that's -2. So you can get some value, some card draw, some card selection. Is she Liliana of the Veiled? Absolutely not, right?
I'm not even
Liliana.
convinced she's worse than Liliana in standard, the old one. I mean, the +1, like the sacrifice ability would not be so good right now against the
Well,
company
it
decks that
gets the
just
tokens and that
yeah,
blister pod, and like people want. Yeah. But Liliana Veil wasn't really that great in standard.
it's
She
true.
fell to below $20 at one point in standard, and she
Yeah,
was not.
she's a
I mean,
modern card, really.
yes, you had
Legacy.
Delver. Delver was the number one deck, and it didn't play any. It's blue white Delver was the number one deck with Geist. But this one I like a lot. I like it a lot. There is a huge difference between one double black, a free mana planeswalker, and a four. I think that's what people really don't get is that she comes down a turn earlier than
Yeah,
most planeswalkers,
it's a
like
three.
Gideon.
There haven't been many 3 mana planeswalkers,
Yeah, but if you look
and
at
they've all been
the,
insane.
the one Nissa, right? People looked at her, and initially you look at her as like, oh man, it's just producing O1 tokens, and it's okay, it gives +1/+1 token counters. This card sucks, but enough time, enough tokens created, enough creatures removed, you just get value, and that's what they are. They are value planeswalkers. So I'm extremely excited to pick her up. I'm definitely looking forward to maybe picking up at least one of the San Diego Comic Con cards. Have you seen them?
I
The
have, and
zombie,
they look awesome.
yeah, the zombie planeswalkers. The only one I want is Liliana. I
Uh
could
huh.
care less about the other four, but hopefully I can pick up one of those. I like her a lot. She is pricey. I think she's around $25 right now, $27 TCG mids. So I don't know when's the best time to pick her up.
I have no idea on that, but it's a good pick. She'll be good. She's a little bit underrated in standard. I've seen a lot of lists for the Pro Tour that have her in there. So, um, if she's in multiple of the top 8 decks in the Pro Tour in the next couple weeks,
It's hard for a card to go over 27, regardless in a modern set. Yeah.
hmm all right. My number one card, I'm picking this for competitive, and for we're gonna see it everywhere is Spell Queller.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That human.
Yeah. 3 mana flash.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. It's $10 actually right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Counter a spell. It's just collected company is now a counter spell. You play a Gideon in response to a collected company, put in a tireless tracker and a spell queller and counter your. It's just, it's stupid. It's a stupid card. It's going to define standard. I think you're going to have to every deck is going to have to pass the spell queller test. Every card has to be evaluated against spell queller. It's going to be good in standard and not just Bant, but also blue white, and perhaps in like Esper control. It's definitely I don't know if it's a great EDH card because counterspells are not quite as good there. I'm not sure on it for modern. If it does things in modern, that's when it will really take off. I'm not sure. I think it has a chance because well, I don't think it will be ubiquitous, but I would be shocked if this thing didn't see play in modern. Yeah, it dies to lightning bolt. Okay, Vendilion Click dies to lightning bolt. Vendilion Click is not nearly as good a tempo play as this card. So
It is very good. I like it a lot. I mean, it's an interesting card because it fits that human deck that Coco deck that already exists. And I'm telling you, I'm pretty sick and tired of playing that at my FNM. It's all the grinders play. They all play the same
it's
deck. It's
not
green
going
white
away
humans.
anytime
It's the
soon.
same deck list.
I mean,
Now they're
Coco
gonna
gets
move. Yeah,
rotated.
now they're gonna move it over to Bant and then be slightly different.
Yeah.
But there's no on a side note, like what do you think about standard right now? It's not very creative. At least at my FNM, all the top players they play green white tokens, and I get or green white, and now they're going to play Bant, and just add this card to it, and it's going to be
Uh,
even more OP.
there's room to be creative. There's room to not be creative. People choose what wins. I mean, yeah, if I was going to say you want a guaranteed win, play Bant, play green white, play the white red aggro human deck. But I mean, there's new control decks. Elder Deep Fiend spices some things up. Delirium spices things up. There's a lot of depth once you start to dig down to tier two, tier 1.5 and tier two. All it's just there's just the nature of the people who show up to Magic tournaments. Is
But
they're
this
going
is
to
like
invest in the
FNM,
best deck.
I
It's
expect more.
annoying,
It's
definitely.
all green white in my FNM, and it's like the same deck list. It's little, I mean that's why I would much rather draft.
Yeah,
It's a little bit better
I
than
think
playing.
standard is fine. That's just human nature. Like, is that a new thing that everyone's playing the top net
That's true.
deck? Not really.
But that deck's going to be even harder to beat now with the new cards that are coming in. Um,
Yeah, it's
I was hoping that they would rotate out right when Coco goes away, but it looks like they have some replacement pieces.
I know exactly. I was hoping it would go when the Fetch Shocklands went, but they figured out the mana base and
They
it
figured
continues.
out how to
Yeah,
do it.
I
Yeah.
mean, Collected Company rotates and you just slot in Tameo. It's like, ooh, big downgrade, you know. So,
Yeah.
Bant is in a safe place for a long time, I
Yeah,
think.
but I think Bant is if you had to buy one deck right now to play for a while, it would be Bant. Uh,
Yeah,
it
um,
seems like it's going to be one of the stronger decks.
it'll be hurt by rotations, but it won't go away.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
So
that was,
yeah.
I guess, our top 10. Do you have
Mhm.
anything else to add, Travis? I'll post this on my video on my
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. If you're watching from my channel, go follow MTG Lion. I'll put a link up on the
If
screen.
you're watching from my channel, follow Travis, and I'll have a link to your channel too.
Travis Wizard. Yeah, and
Travis with.
thanks. Yeah, I love doing this with you because we don't have that much overlap. We look at
Oh no, we
things,
don't.
yeah, we look at things differently, and it makes for interesting conversation. So I look forward to doing this again for the next set.
Yep.
And
And
if
every
you're
other set. Yep.
in the
Sounds
comments, let
great.
us know what you think.
Yeah. All right.
Take care, MTG Lion.
Bye, guys.
Take care.